Well, hello everybody, welcome in. It is Monday, it is February 1st, it is week number 5 in the 8-part series, Building Sales Behind Your Haircut Chair. I'm Ivan Zoot, welcome into the channel, welcome into the conversation this week. So very excited to share with you. And of course, we'll start out the week with our reading from $100,000 Haircutter. And because it is February 1st, we'll go to February 1st in the book. That's how it works. And coincidental to this week's topic, let's take a look at February 1 in the Be $100,000 Haircutter book. February 1, that's day 32. A month is gone. 1/12 of the year is gone. Crunch your January numbers. That's right, the first of every month. One of the things we focus on the first of every month is our statistics and tracking. And interesting that it happens to be this week's topic. So February 1 is crunch your January. You've got your data, look at your numbers, time to compile and analyze. So rather than read the entry here, we're going to get into this week's topic, because this week's topic is tracking sales progress. It's accidental, coincidental, convenient, and happy that these two things come together in the same place. So this week, tracking sales progress is the topic of the week in the 8-part series. Week 5. That which gets measured gets improved. I love that expression. That which gets measured gets improved. And the companion expression, to know your numbers, is to grow your numbers. Let's look at these. That which gets measured gets improved basically says whatever numbers you're tracking, they're going to go up. We're acknowledging that the process of tracking, the daily adding them up, writing them down, plugging them in, those functions create a level of awareness that makes the target, the goal, that which you're tracking, top of mind. To know your numbers is to grow your numbers. Knowing your numbers off the top of your head cold, knowing a good day from a bad day, a fast day from a slow day, by looking at the number and going, oh, I know what that day looks like based on the numbers, knowing what a number feels like when it happens, and knowing what it took to hit a number like that. That which gets measured gets improved, and to know your numbers is to grow your numbers. Two tracking phrases you'll hear me use all the time. So what we want to do today is I want to share basic stats to be tracking. If you're new to tracking, these are the ones I think you should start with. If you're an established tracker, you know these are the ones that are at the core of what you do. And knowing these numbers will be growing these numbers. You'll see these numbers go up. It just works. Number 1 on the list is total revenue, the money, all the money. Add up the money, count up the money, total up the money. That's the money. Do it every day. Do it every week. Do it every month. Do it quarterly, yearly, and a running year to date. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, and a running year to date on total revenue. Most important statistic, bottom line, what does the money look like? That one's kind of simple. There's not a lot to it. Add up the money. The next one is average ticket. Statistic number 2, average ticket. This is total revenue for whatever period divided by head count. So $100 in, 10 customers, divided out, average $10 per. Simple math, makes it easy to understand where we get it from. Not every day. I think you need to look at average ticket on a weekly basis. We have our ups and downs and fluctuations, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And you can track year to date. Where is our average ticket year to date compared to last year? Average ticket. It's a powerful representation of who's buying what. How deep are we digging? How effectively are we selling the menu from all of our services? You know, if your basic haircut is $10, your average ticket is $10, you're selling nothing. You're not digging deeper into the menu or into the retail display rack. But total revenue divided by head count gives you average ticket. And that number should be creeping up. That number should be going up. What should that number be? Hard to say, but let's talk about it. Ideally, I like to give people as a benchmark the starting target of 1.5. So in other words, if your haircut is $10, your average ticket should be $15, 1.5 times your base service price. If it's a haircut, if it's a manicure, a massage, a facial service, if you're an esthetician, obviously these concepts cross across disciplines within our industry. But 1.5 is a good place to start the conversation. Now hang on a second. We have to acknowledge variations in price. So for instance, if you're a $10 haircutter, and you shouldn't be a $10 haircutter, but easy math, if you're a $10 haircutter, a 14 bottle of gel, you sell one to one customer, and you're at well over 200% of your average ticket. You've more than doubled your base service price with a $14 bottle of gel on a $10 haircut. But if you're a $24 haircut and you sell a $14 bottle of gel, you're adding only a little more than, maybe 55 to 60% on top of your base average ticket. So rather than being over 2.5 times or close to 2.5 times, you're at only 1.6-ish if you follow my logic. So the price of your haircut relative to the price of your add-on services and the price of your products, or the price of manicure, esthetician, you got it, relative to the product and the additional service prices can skew the formula. But as a basic formula, shoot for 1.5 as a starting point, see where you are, and then wherever you are, shoot to grow. Average ticket. Next one is total retail. That is the dollars you bring on non-service. That's all your product dollars. Add them up. Just add them up. It's like total revenue, but non-service only. Again, track it weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly and year to date. Know where you are for the year. I said it's February 1st. That means we're 1/12 of the way into the year. A 12th comes out to be about, 8%? So if you do the basic math, you should, if your goal is a $100,000 haircutter, 100.0 times 0.08 equals, you should have about $8,000 in the bag for January if you're on track to be a $100,000 haircutter without any seasonal variation, if every month were even and steady throughout the year. And of course, we know they're not. Other statistic, I put this as like 3B, a sub-statistic to 3. We talk total retail. Average retail per ticket. Not as important a statistic as average ticket in general, but when we're focused on retail penetration, and guys, your retail is so important to your bottom line, average retail per ticket, that's total retail, total non-service revenue divided by head count. Again, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. This lets you know that the average retail purchase is this much. Look at that number and maybe take the time to add up what all your products cost to find out what your average product cost is, retail price, not cost of the product, selling price of the product, to figure out, for instance, if you add up and divide all your products and your average product is $14 and your average retail per ticket is $7, that's about half a bottle of product per customer. So you can dig into these numbers and really get some analysis and information from them. One last thing I want to add on top of the statistics conversation is the idea of how you look at your numbers, visual representation. I want to suggest that for some of us, it may be very valuable to simply plug these numbers into a spreadsheet or on a sheet of paper in a 3-ring binder. It doesn't have to be fancy. I always say tracking has to be something you'll do and use. The fanciest tracking app or statistics system out there is a bad system if you're not going to use it. But a pencil and a piece of paper is a great system if you use that system. So some of us may benefit from just plugging it into a piece of paper and looking at a column of numbers. Others of us may benefit from something a little more visual, and that is where I suggest graph paper. Again, you can use an Excel spreadsheet and plot it out in a chart, or you can buy grid paper or graph paper and put dots and lines on a piece of paper with a pencil to see a visual representation of what up and down look like. It really helps some people to see those numbers, especially to see the difference between numbers. The difference from 3 to 5 is up 2. 5 to 7 is up 2. 5 to 9 is up 4. It's double. And when you see that actually plotted out on paper, the story is told in a very, very different way that for some of us connects very differently with the way our brain sees and interprets the information. So, visually graphing your statistical tracking may be an important component for you to help you understand and then at some point internalize the information that you're taking such a hard look at. Let's move on and close up with the technique of the week. The technique of the week is a twofer. It's a double technique. It's a bonus here. The technique of the week is hold this. When you're talking about a product with a client, you've used it at the chair, you take them up front, you're in front of the product display, remove a piece of product from the shelf and hand it to the client. Physically hand it to the client. Put it in their hands. We know that physical contact leads to intimacy with the product, leads to the development of a relationship with the product. An individual that holds the product in their hands is substantially more statistically likely to purchase that product and take it home. Hold this. Give it to the client. Now, the second half of this, because it's a twofer, hold this, is take your own. When you hand a product to a client, take one for yourself. Never, ever, ever take a product away from someone. If they're holding it in their hand, take one of your own. If you want to point out, firm hold. If you want to point out how to use on wet or dry hair on the label, point to it on yours. You're making a statement about possession and ownership. You've got yours, I've got mine. You've got yours, I've got mine. You're reinforcing that in the mind of the customer. Never take it away from them. Once they're holding it, leave it in their hands. And if a client puts it back on the shelf during the conversation, read the body language. They're saying no for now. Not no overall, but no for now. If they put it back on the shelf, if you want to continue the conversation, take it back down and point out, did you notice? It's an 8 ounce, and hand it back to them and put it back in their hands. The more times they touch it, the more time they spend holding it, the better the chance is that it's going out the door with them. That's our technique of the week. Hold this and take your own, a twofer technique, combined with our conversation on tracking sales progress. To know your numbers is to grow your numbers. That which gets measured gets improved. Thanks so much for being here this week. Comment, like, share, subscribe to the video, turn on your notifications, never miss an episode. We'll be back with more next week, and you'll be on your way to being a $100,000 customer. If you haven't bought the new book yet, the Professional Haircutters Pricing Playbook, it's in stock, it's online, it's available for purchase, it's shipping right away. It's also available digital, ivanzoot.com. I'll put a link in the description so you can get your copy. Thanks for being with us today. Enjoy your day. Have a great day. I'll talk to you during the week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.